Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and you are listening to Numbers Don't Lie, where you learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. Guys, we are still in Financial Literacy Month. Great month. Hope you're learning a lot of good stuff. I know I have been learning something from each guest. I mean, I'm not too old to learn a new trick, okay? I mean, I think I'm still kind of young. I'm still young. I'm still learning. Shoot. And this particular day, this particular guest is going to help you get your coins right so you can retire as a millionaire. She has a major mission to, I don't even want to give it away because she'll say it way better than me. And I have a great intro for her. So let's just say you better tune in and listen. We've had her here before, but now we're going to dig in a little further because it is your right. It is your birthright to be a millionaire, to retire in abundance. And I want you to receive that. We already talked about mindset, things that are holding you back. Listen, hopefully we've got some of the money blocks cleared. You've learned some practical things already. Now it's time to take it to the next level. Are y'all ready to meet our next guest? Drum roll, please. Welcome to Numbers Don't Lie, our favorite financial planner, Tremaine the Great.
I like that. Our favorite financial planner. I think I want to steal that to go with Tremaine the Great. I like how you introduced me. Can I just have you everywhere?
Absolutely. I can pour some sound bites for you and you can put it wherever you want.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I love coming on Numbers Don't Lie. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Because they don't be lying, girl. People do though.
Period. Okay, yes. All up and down the timeline, they be lying.
For what? Like, why? It takes too much energy to lie to me. I don't.
And then you got to remember to lie.
Right. I was about to say that. You got to keep up with it. I just can't. It's not for me. I think I was just always afraid to lie. I had a real black mama. I talked about her last month, and she just put the fear of God in you. Like, okay, let me tell you this. I remember I tried to steal some money. My mama used to keep like her quarters in this little organizer thing. I don't know what it was, but this little organizer coins. And I used to go to the girls' club, and so I was like, I want to buy a snack or something. And I remember going in there, and I took 2 quarters, so I was gonna buy me a little bag of chips. Y'all, I felt so bad. I felt so bad. One, that she's gonna catch me. Two, it's just I was so overwhelmed. I said, I put it back, y'all. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't steal 50 cents.
Good. And now it's serving you well to this day. What belongs to you is for you. And you ain't got to worry about nobody taking nothing, okay?
Okay, amen. Just turn that thing on around. But what could that 50 cents have done for me if I would invested? No, I'm just playing. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, y'all, we just cutting up. This is my friend. She just came to the Brownstone. We're going to get to it. All right. We're professionals. All right, here we go. Tremaine. Not the...
That's my professional pose because y'all know I'm about to drop some gems. Okay?
You got to put
the... this the tax joint.
Yeah. You got place. Okay.
Yeah, y'all, we be having fun.
We do. Could you remind the people how wonderful you are, what you do, what your wonderful business is, and your great initiative?
Yeah. So my name is Tremaine Wills from Mind Over Money. I'm a financial planner and investment advisor. I help small business owners invest their profit so that they can experience financial freedom without wasting time or money. Our mission at Mind Over Money is to help 1 million entrepreneurs grow their invested assets to $1 million over the next 20 years. So huge, big, hairy, audacious goal. But it really is my passion to serve and to help teach and promote financial literacy in a way that we can see real results.
I love it. You go, girl. Listen, I told y'all last time, I'm about to be up in that number, okay? I'm out here small business owner. I ain't call myself small no more. I'm a business owner. And I'm a millionaire. So I don't know about y'all. Y'all better get on this train. Because even though she serves small business owners or business owners, what she's saying today still applies to W-2 employees, regular 9-to-5 people. Like the strategies are not, they don't discriminate. Okay.
Absolutely. And the good thing is like, when you learn about investing, all you have to do is apply the information to your particular situation. If you learn to treat your personal money like you're running a business, you'll be more efficient.
All right. Okay, let's just go on and get into it because you already teaching. So let's just go ahead. Okay, so we talked to Tremaine before, and I want her to remind us of some common misconceptions that people have about starting to invest.
Yeah. So I get this a lot. I think the biggest one people have around investing is this idea that you have to already be wealthy in order to start. And I think that's the most detrimental one, right? Because it makes us feel inferior or less than, or that we have to wait until some undefined period in the future in order to really capitalize on what investing can do for us. And so if you don't hear nothing else we say today, I want you to walk away knowing that you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't even have to be like a six-figure earner to get started invested. You just have the desire to start, because the reality is you can start with small amounts and just develop the muscle of investing, so that it becomes a part of who you are, right? And I think once your mindset shifts and you adopt the identity of an investor, it changes how you look at investing, right? Because there are people who dabble, right? It's like, oh, I got a little account here, account there. And whenever I have extra, I might, put some away. And then there are investors who are seeking opportunities for their money to grow for them. And so you can be an investor even if you're not a millionaire yet.
What's that phrase you say? You don't have to be an investor. I mean, a millionaire to start investing. You just have to start investing to become a millionaire.
That's right. That's the one. That's the one, right? Because you cannot save your way to millions.
Yes.
You can't do it.
That was actually the name of our last show. So you should go over to brownstoneworldwide.com and find that episode. You cannot save your way to millions because you can't. I know grandma, told you to save your money. I know mama told you to save your money. And because that's all they knew. And I'm not trying to shade them or shame them. And a lot of times if you talk to people of couple, born in your grandparents was born in the 30s and 40s, a lot of times they didn't really have many other options.
That's
so
right.
mattress money has history. So I'm not trying to shade that. But now that we have options, I want you to really to take heed, because she's literally talking to anybody that's listening. She said, you don't have to earn six figures. Most of the United States workers do not earn six figures. So she is still talking to you. So go ahead and turn us up. I know you was kind of listening to us and doing something else. I know. Listen to us. Listen, lean in, okay? Okay, since we talk about millionaire status, could you tell us what a millionaire actually looks like? Because I know for me, I don't know about the listeners out there, Brownstone, you can let me know if this is you too. I grew up thinking that a millionaire meant I had to have $1 million in my bank account, in my savings account. Look at your face.
Because I'm concerned, right? And you're probably not alone in that thought, right? And if you are somebody who has $1 million in your bank account, I need you to come talk to me, because baby, one, if it's in one bank account, it's not even all FDIC insured.
And we just saw what happened.
On when you're watching this, right? Well, depending on when you're watching this, you might want to split that up some, right? And there are ways to protect your money in different accounts, but that's neither here nor there. But there are lots of ways to be a millionaire. Having $1 million in your savings account makes you a cash millionaire, right? But you can also become a millionaire by the assets that you own, which is far more common, right? So sometimes people will become millionaires because they have assets that are worth $1 million. This can be assets in their investment accounts. It can be like tangible property assets, right? But the reality is it's far easier to become a millionaire once you really understand that being a millionaire is about the value of the assets that you own. So it's more about ownership and not so much about what you own that makes you a millionaire. So you don't have to get, your savings account to $1 million, but you do have to think about, how can I accumulate assets that, one, appreciate in value and are going to make me more money? Because then you can put that money to work, right? It's so much easier to get to $1 million when your assets are working for you and creating baby assets and then grow up to make their own assets, right? That's what we really want. So let's think less about the balance in our bank account, like needing to have all those commas in it, and more about, how do I get the assets I have duplicating themselves and working overtime, right? Whether it's through ownership in businesses or stocks and things like that, or ownership in property like real estate, or you know maybe it's your own business, because that can qualify you as a millionaire as well if the value of your business is worth $1 million. So
All
there's
right.
lots of different ways to become a millionaire, right? It just requires you to think like outside of what's in this bank account.
Yeah. That's good because I just gave an example of the information, the limited information that I had, because that's all data is, right? It's just information being passed around, whether you see it, whether it's passed down through habits. And that's honestly what was passed down to me was just a habit of saving. Like no one ever talked about investing, probably because they didn't really know much about it. And it may be you
Mm-hmm.
just listening in right now. That's all the information that you had past tense. Now that you're listening to this show, you now have more information. And so now you have a decision that you can make. Do I keep putting money in this bank account, which is, you see, inflation is actually losing money every day that is sitting in there because you can't even go buy it. I mean, how much eggs now?
Listen, eggs cost more than a house at this point. It's just like eat something else.
It's April, so at the Numbers Don't Lie podcast, we're going to be talking about financial literacy all month. So get ready to hear about all aspects of your life, from the mindset to family to real estate to investing. It goes from simple to complex. So get ready to hear from these experts, guys. They are phenomenal, and they're going to equip you with the information you need to take action so your next year can be better than this one. Get ready to count those coins and stack those ones because, y'all, it's about to go down. So tune in to Numbers Don't Lie every single Tuesday and Thursday in April. You're listening to Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR The Brownstone. Welcome home. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed all the topics that we've done so far. You can listen to us on brownstoneworldwide.com. Or you can find us on Facebook at Brownstone Worldwide. You can chime in on comments. We have live shows going on. You can legit engage with us, and we will engage with you. And you can find me, Dr. Michelle, on Instagram and Facebook with my business name, Mogul Beginnings. That's Mogul, Mogul Beginnings. And we're just here chit-chatting about financial advice from our favorite financial planner, Tremaine. And she was just talking about the different the different ways you can classify yourself as a millionaire. And no, you do not have to have $1 million in your bank. There's so many other ways that you can do it. So keep listening because we got more for you. Did you want to say anything else about that before I ask the next question?
There is something else I wanted to say. So there is a really good measurement of how well you're progressing your finances. And it's the accredited investor, right? This is one thing I like to teach clients to qualify for. And it's not a certification you apply for anything. Basically, it's just a standard that gives you additional access to investment opportunities. But there are certain qualifications that you need, right? So you need to be either a millionaire, right? And that's not only just by like money in your account, but we talked about the qualifications of a millionaire. But with that one, you can include the value of your primary home, or you need to be a high income earner who's made $200,000 2 years consecutively,
Oh, I
right?
was about to say,
And
is this
so
in
for
1 year? Like, what is this span? But you just answered it.
2 years consecutively, right? And so the good thing about pursuing accredited investor status is it puts you in a space where you have more access to more investment options, right? The average retail investor, the everyday person that hops on like a Robinhood, you're limited to the investments that are on that platform, right? But when you become an accredited investor, it gives you the opportunity to invest in more startup companies that are not publicly available, right? And so lots of money is made in this space because it's like, imagine getting on the ground floor of Amazon,
Oh,
right? Imagine being on the ground floor of Facebook, where before it was opened up to everybody else, the folks that put in that initial money, they got some massive returns, right? And so being an accredited investor gets you into spaces like that where you get opportunity as someone who's seen as more sophisticated,
mm-hmm.
um, so that you can compound your returns faster, right? So like, yes, we all can be millionaires, but like this is incentive to really push yourself to get there so that you can take advantage of additional doors that open because you're being more savvy with your money. So bonus points for anyone who's like, yes, I definitely want to get access to like that ground floor status and being able to participate in private placements. So we're going to push to not only become millionaires, but become accredited investors so that we can make the money work even harder with special opportunities.
Y'all, she said like two things, two words. She said options and she said faster. I said, huh? Okay. You open you up to more options so you can, your money can compound for you faster. So I'm not trying to say I didn't hear nothing else, but but I just leaned in. I said, oh, I get more options faster. Okay. See, look, y'all, when Tremaine gets her information at the end of the show, y'all better scramble for a pen or you better pause this episode and come back because you need to know about how to become a credit. I just heard about accredited investor. I mean, I might have read about it maybe a few years ago, but I didn't really know what it meant until like maybe 2 years ago. So I am well on my way to becoming an accredited investor. I don't know about y'all. Yeah, options and faster. That's it. That's it. What else does she need to say?
It is a good space to be in. I do like it a lot. So,
So now that we are getting excited about thinking about themselves as an accredited investor, like, oh, I'm an investor, I can start. What are some of the biggest mistakes that these newly eager investors could make?
I'm glad you mentioned it, okay? Because in the beginning, we be messing up. We be messing up. The biggest one is asking what to buy instead of identifying why we're buying, right? And I get that a lot. I get people sliding in my DMs saying, hey, I see you're a financial advisor. What stock should I buy? And my question is, well, my answer is always, it depends, right? And that's typically the answer when you're talking about finances, is because I can say buy something, but if you need the money for a particular goal, then that's going to determine your investment strategy. So one of the things you need to do before you just like dive in and go off to the races with this thing is be clear about why you're investing. Are you investing for retirement? If that's the case, put the money inside of an retirement investment account, right? So that way you get the tax benefits associated with it. And you really understand that this is a long-term thing. For many of us, we hop on Robinhood, right? Robinhood is not a platform for those people who are doing long-term investment strategy. Like that should not be the first place you invest because Robinhood doesn't have any investment accounts for retirement. So you can't even put the money in the place for long-term strategy. And it forces you inside of brokerage accounts that inherently come with capital gains tax.
Yep.
Right?
Y'all know about that?
So if well, look, you're about to find out. Let me tell you, right? So when you have a brokerage account and let's say you're part of the 10% of retail investors who do make a profit, because 90% do not. Okay. But let's say you are part of the 10% and you make a profit. If you don't hold the stock for more than a year, you're going to get slapped with short-term capital gains. Right? And depending on how much money you make, that could be a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
Right? So it's important that as a new investor, you at least research the type of account that you're investing inside of so you know the tax implications connected to it. A lot of the stock options, like as long as you're not being completely reckless, I'm not going to say this out loud. I am going to say it out loud. What you buy is not as important as the type of account it's held in. Right? Especially if you're purchasing wisely, right? There's lots of different index funds that diversify your portfolio for you. And if you buy BTI or BOO, like the difference ain't really that deep. But if I put BTI inside of a brokerage account and I get taxed 20% on them gains versus putting it inside of a Roth IRA and not paying no tax on the gains, that could be a couple $1,000, right? Depending on how much the interest grows. So it's important to be more concerned about why I'm investing, what the appropriate account is supposed to be, and less about should I buy Amazon or Tesla, right? The answer is you need both. But so like that's a mistake I see investors make often is not having their investments inside the appropriate account. And then lastly, not having an emergency fund,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Investing is so sexy, right? It's like the thing. Everybody wants to talk about it, right? There's all different kinds of ways to do it. You can day trade, you can buy options, right? You can buy and hold, you can get inside dividend investing, lots of different things to do. But if you don't have that emergency fund in place, the sexiness goes away when you got to sell and you got to take a loss.
Mm.
And that happens for a lot of people because we invest prematurely by being pressured into doing stuff when we're not ready for it yet. So, yes, we're talking about investing. I don't want everybody to be an investor. I really do want you to do this, but I want you to come prepared first so that when you start investing, you don't have to stop and take your money out too soon. So, yes, get that emergency fund in place, and then you can come play with us, right? But let's play safely and not with the rent money that's due. Okay.
Girl, it's crazy. Like, because people be trying to flip. What people talk about? They trying to flip their rent money. You're gonna be on the streets.
Listen, you're gonna be flipping that eviction notice over. Don't do that.
And being homeless is not sexy. Okay.
It ain't.
Y'all, because you put out a really great post one time. Y'all follow her on Instagram. So make sure you go follow Tremaine Wills on Instagram. She puts out really great content. It was a question. And it said, where should you invest your emergency fund? And I know people was like, right ready to type. You was like, trick question. I was like, oh, she about to get him. You don't. Ooh, you don't, because you need it in an emergency. And she just talked about the capital gains taxes associated with pulling out that money. Like, you have to pull out money real quick and you're not ready to. I'm not trying to get slapped with extra taxes. Listen, I'm single with no children. I don't need no extra taxes slapped on top of that. So I'm gonna keep my emergency fund over there in my online account, and when I need it, I'm gonna pull it on down, and that's that. Mm-hmm. It's not. I know it doesn't sound sexy. I know it sounds like super slow. Like, oh, I could be doing all the stuff with my money. Listen, that is your personal insurance, okay? Because I think my pastor said, people will give you a ride before they let you come live with them. You need your rent money.
Okay. And listen, and we say like investing is sexy, but there is nothing sexier than not worrying about being able to pay your bills.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's the flex that we're not talking about. Like, oh, having your bills on auto draft is the flex.
Listen, on auto draft and not worried about it. Not worried about it. Listen, but that only happens when you got an emergency fund, friends.
Only happens. So if y'all out there and you got your bills on autopilot and auto pay, you still winning, okay? Because not
everybody
can do that.
You the MVP.
You are.
Like 45% of people can't do it because we don't even have $400 saved, right? So like, investing is amazing, right? But we have to do things in order. There's always a progression of how you get to move up these steps. And sometimes we be trying to skip 4-5 steps at a time, right? And yeah, but when it comes to anything related to finances, you have to take care of the things that bring you what you need based on where you are in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Mm-hmm. So I need my foundational security taken care of first. I need to make sure I got food, shelter, like heat on, right? Okay, before you start jumping up the ladder. And so that base level of having my basic needs covered, it's not the funnest place to be, but once you have that taken care of, then you can start moving up and starting to do some of the funner. Oh, that's not a word.
I love it though.
Funner. More fun things with your finances.
That was effective communication. We know what you meant. Okay, Tremaine, could you give us, because y'all, this show's about over. Like, she has given you so much information. So please re-watch it, re-listen to it. If you're listening to it on KCCR, the Brownstone app, you might want to head over to brownstoneworldwide.com/BWTV, and you want to click Numbers Don't Lie to hear this episode again, because this is probably the piece that you can take action today. So Tremaine, could you give us like one thing, like something practical that people can start doing today to put them on the road to retiring as a millionaire?
Absolutely. I want you to write down your top goal for this year What's the one thing you want to accomplish by the end of the year? And then determine how it's going to happen, right? So, for example, let's say you want to build that emergency fund and you need to put another $2,000 in your savings account to make it happen, right? I want you to sit down and look and see what are the days that you get paid, how much you need to put aside each of those pay periods in order to reach the goal. This does two things for you. It helps you build the confidence in your ability to stick to a goal and execute, which is phenomenal, right? The second thing it does is it shows you that when you reach that goal, you can now reallocate that same money and begin your investment journey. So you start to build that confidence in yourself. There's a habit, there's a muscle that comes in place that, like, yes, I am somebody that does well with my finances. And that becomes a new part of your identity. Sometimes we don't manage our money well because we've told ourselves we're bad at money, right? And so we have to retrain ourselves to believe that I'm great with money.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to do that is to set a goal for yourself, put together a strategy on how you're going to accomplish that goal, and then execute on the steps required to make it happen. And it'll be no time. You'll look back and be like, man, I did that, right? And now that this is done, I can do this fun thing that I want to do with my money, right? And so if there was one thing I had to say, and maybe, you've already maybe you've already saved your emergency fund. Well, how much do you want to invest this year?
Ooh.
Right? And now you get to decide, like, what is something, and it can be a small incremental amount, y'all. Like, this doesn't have to be hundreds of dollars a month. It could just be like 25 a pay period, right? That's something small that you can manage because you can always increase it later. What we want to do is develop the muscle, develop the habit of being consistent and having the discipline. When I can get disciplined about my money, man, the door's open. The door's really open because it's no longer something that you're a slave to, and it truly becomes a resource that allows you to live your best life. So, and I want that for you. I want you to live your best life, but you got to get disciplined first.
Tremaine, you go, girl. Okay, y'all. I don't have anything to add because she's right. Like it is like, get your emergency fund. If you already got that, the fun can begin. But I do think we do overlook how good it is to have the habit of saving, because we have such a habit of spending. And so to show yourself, we already talked about the mindset, right? The money blocks, you already told yourself that abundance is my birthright, all that stuff. So now it's time to start to put it into action. Tremaine said at the very beginning of the episode, like, now it's time to do. You're good with money. You're supposed to have wealth. Okay, let's take those steps. And an emergency fund is not anything to laugh at. Like, that's so important. So if you're there, kudos to you. Like, you are doing something that most Americans do not have. Like, most Americans, I think it's 60 something percent, don't have $1,000 for an emergency. So if you can get to 1,000, you're doing better than you in the top 1/3. Okay. And I'm not joking. I'm not lying. You can look, numbers don't lie. And I'm not lying.
Okay.
So Tremaine, could you tell these wonderful people how they can get in contact with you, where they can find you, if whatever you have for them to get started today?
Yeah, of course. So the first thing, you can visit me at mindovermoney.net. That's our website. It's a hub where we are back into blogging, sharing content there. But the best place is probably going to be on social media. I am online, all the places, right? I'm like Visa, everywhere you want to be, right? TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. And my handle is at Tremaine Wills. So follow and connect with me there, and you can slide me a DM. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you.
Oh, she's so old. You see how nice she is? Look how beautiful her smile is. I mean, gotta get in contact with her. So, guys, thank you. First of all, thank you, Tremaine, for educating our listeners. Put a little bit of fire up under us. Get that knowledge now to put it into action. And thank you, Brownstone listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Numbers Don't Lie. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I've been your host, Dr. Michelle. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Mogul Beginnings. That's MOGUL, Mogul Beginnings. And you can connect with me. I'm a real person as well. And you can also find me on brownstoneworldwide.com. All right, y'all. Anything else you want to say, Tremaine?
That was it. A lot.
Don't be lying.
Listen, I sometimes I feel like I'm a motivational speaker, right? But the name of my company is Mind Over Money because we know the importance of your mindset around your money. And so I want us to believe that it can be us. You can be the next millionaire or the first millionaire in your family if there are none. But everything begins with that thought, right? So think wealthy thoughts. Believe that it can be you, and it doesn't have to be you watching somebody else.
That's good. And on that note, guys, take it, receive it, and believe that it can happen for you. Have a great rest of your day.